smart contracts for entities are living in escrow. So I can manage my trust code. This has been under our control. And obviously, when it gets there, it's blockchain, if anyone touched it, you know they touched it. Once legally they understand the technology side of cryptography, our law is beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's like you have to put it beyond a shadow of a doubt. You get part of those person. That's why OJs went around free, because they couldn't do that. But I can say cryptographically, it's impossible for anyone to change this. Your Honor. Sorry for cursing it. So you've got a great idea. What are your questions? Sorry. Hey, don't stress, man. We've been loving it.
Yeah, we're gonna start.
Yep. So we're only doing the number of memberships in the club if there are cars. We want everyone to have a guaranteed opportunity to get a car. So we're not selling 10,000, 20,000. We just want everyone that buys a membership in the club to buy an NFT and buy a car.
Please welcome our next panel with the topic Investing in Blockchain Real Estate.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? All right. My name is Tony Giordano, founder of Giordano Industries. I have a few companies. I got into this crypto space about 7 years ago, in addition to the crypto space, blockchain, and now the launch of NFTs actually representing physical property, not just real property, through a couple companies that we have. That's my backstory. You've probably seen me on CNBC, Bloomberg, talking about blockchain and real estate. And now I'd like to introduce our other two panelists, please.
Hey, I'm Neil Mant, and I have a long history of producing movies and TV shows in Hollywood. Anybody a sports fan? I created Jim Rome is Burning, and I produced a film called $1 Million Arm for Disney, and produced the Golden Globes. Anyway, and then now I'm playing in the real estate blockchain space. So excited to talk to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, my name is Alvaro, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Very excited to be sharing stage with these two legends right here. And I'm the founder and CEO of Super Luxury Group, where we sell, advertise, and sell multi-million-dollar homes through influencer marketing and crypto NFT metaverse integrations. So we'll be talking a little bit about how to invest into the blockchain, the real estate, and all the fun stuff.
Real quick, do you want to give your Instagram handle for people to follow and connect with you?
Right, I would love you guys to check out what we're doing. You can connect with us via Instagram, so you can find me on Instagram at Alvaro Nunez, ALVARONUNEZ.
My social handle is just my name. Everywhere, it's just Neil Mant.
My social handle is just, my middle name is underscore. That's my new middle name these days. So just Tony_Giordano. You'll find me on Instagram and all of our other stuff. All right, I'm gonna open up with the first question. What is the Metaverse, Web3, and blockchain real estate, if you were to answer all three of those?
It's very easy. There's a lot of confusion about the Metaverse. First and foremost, the Metaverse is singular. There's only one Metaverse. So if anyone's like, I'm building a Metaverse, or my company's gonna get our own Metaverse, that's an impossibility. Because the Metaverse is the internet. That's all it is. We went from a desktop internet where we were cabled to the wall and this dial-up, painful. Then we went to an entirely different technology that was mobile. It allowed you to get the internet through Wi-Fi or through a cellular signal. Totally different tech. And now we're moving into what's called spatial. It's three-dimensional internet. And there are only 2 points of entry. One is through VR, where you put goggles in, and the other is through AR. And so it is the internet. People will often talk about, in this case we'll talk about real estate and VR. People talk about the sandbox or the Decentraland. Those are not the metaverses, those are virtual worlds, which is akin to a website or an app, of which there will be billions of, like there are websites and apps. So Metaverse is the internet in 3 dimensions, am I right?
No, I mean, you summarized it pretty well. It's just basically the evolution of Web 2 into Web 3 by being decentralized with blockchain technology and token-based economy. So if we emphasize more on the metaverse, we're just talking, as Neil said, about the virtual worlds, which is quite interesting when it comes to the world of real estate. So we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, and that's a perfect answer. I try to simplify it with people and say it's the future of the internet, as he said. It is how we will surf the internet. It will be how we shop, how you access it. Web3 and Metaverse, although different, are under the same technology on the blockchain and will actually, complement each other very well and help each other grow. That being said, wrap your head around it. You won't be on your phone on Amazon.com adding things to your shopping cart. That's the old internet. The future of the internet is you will virtually be in the store, inside Amazon, third dimensionally, and grabbing things off the counter and putting them in your shopping cart through your avatar. Well, wait a second, Tony. You're telling me that I'm gonna have to put on those big glasses anytime I wanna go into the internet? That's the future? Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, Tony, I'm never gonna be so reliant on a device every single day that I can't live without, where I have to access the internet, and without it, I can't do that. I'll never rely on a device like that so much during the day that I turn into a ninja when I can't find it, or it's in my hand and I'm asking where it is. Yeah, you will. It's the evolution, it's the next evolution. But don't worry, just like these, the glasses will get smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually our phones will probably have a hologram off of them, third dimensionally. Don't worry. But this is the future of the way we will surf the internet. That being,
I want to add to that, Tony. So he's correct in that you will walk through this virtual Amazon. However, we will spend limited time in that environment. The VR is very isolating. We have been in an isolating world now with a phone where, I'm looking around everywhere and everyone's got a phone, or if you're sitting on a subway, you look, everyone is down like this, looking on their phone. The phone will disappear, the iPhone. I know I feel like, oh my God, it's lying, it's blasphemy, the phone's gonna go away. Does anyone have a green avocado rotary phone in their house? No. The push button phone, I remember when I was a kid, we got a push button phone. It's like 1980, 1979. And we open it out of the box and we look at it with my dad, and he's see these two things in the bottom, the pound and the star sign. And I said to him, what's that? And he looks at me and he's befuddled. He's like, that's for the future. And he was right. Like, no one knew what it was then, and now we use the pound and hash sign. Well, in addition to VR, you will wear augmented glasses. They will destroy the phone, and you will be able to shop sitting here with that Amazon. You'll be able to pull it up, or I will look at people's faces and I'll see LinkedIn, and maybe you have an association with a brand. You're wearing something on your shirt, and I can look at it and pull up a store and buy it. So through some sort of a device, like Tony says, whether it's AR glasses or VR glasses, you will be always on. And by the way, we are always on. If you lose your wallet, or you think you lost your wallet, it's 24 hours before you freak out. If you think you misplaced your phone, it's 60 seconds. So the idea of someone saying, well, I'm not gonna wear glasses, even though 70% of the world already wears glasses, is just crazy, because it's gonna be the have and the have-nots. And you will not be a have-not.
I love that. That leads right into question number 2. Alvaro, if you wanna take this first, why should they in the audience, why should I invest in blockchain real estate?
At the end of the day, it's all about what specific needs you're looking for as an investor. And I do believe that as of right now, if we just do an ROI analysis, you can be seeing some investments that took place in the metaverse, whether we're talking about the Decentraland or Sandbox, where people are renting their spaces for over $50,000 a month. And the reason for that is because it has become so popular that all these big brands with big budgets, they just want to be on it. And they're starting to come up with these fashion shows. They're doing all these convention centers. So I think that right now you can monetize heavily if you really position yourself. And this is a different topic, but there is a lot of different opportunities in that space.
Well, I would like to first slow down and say, well, what is blockchain? Because a lot of people are here trying to learn things. And what is an NFT? What we talked about how simple the metaverse is. Blockchain is just a series of computers that are networked, that are not in one basement. You watch a movie and it's like the server's in the basement. If we break the server, we save the world. Blockchain doesn't work that. It's a bunch of different computers that are connected. So when we talk about blockchain investing in the metaverse, people are thinking again almost exclusively with virtual reality. And the platforms that are real estate in the metaverse of VR are things like the Sandbox and Decentraland, which are the earliest of these virtual worlds. And I'm very skeptical of all of it. I advise people to stay away from the Sandbox and Decentraland because they're very early, and there will be many, many other competitors, and you have to think about what will make a virtual world good. And that means when I go in there, and if Tony made his house, and someone over here made a shopping center or whatever, and if I walk down the street and things are jumping out at me, or it's not a pleasant experience, or everything isn't cool, I'm going to take the goggles off, and I'm not going back to that virtual world of the Sandbox or whatever it is. So it relies on everybody in the community making an amazing experience. That is requiring everybody to be creative and technical. Too early to make those bets. Whereas where my company, Metaverse Rights, is playing is we don't even really think about VR. We're thinking about AR in real world buildings. And the issues of those, like Pokemon Go, is a crime. They use people's property to activate a business using augmented reality without asking for permission, giving a release form, an insurance certificate, or anything. So we work with property owners to say, all right, let's record our ownership, let's mint our ownership of the title on blockchain so Pokemon and Snapchat and Facebook knows we are the real title owner and that we demand respect and business. And so outside investors could invest in that building owner's business, which is real estate, which is recorded on blockchain.
Thank you for sharing that. I will add pretty much 3 reasons why people should be investing in blockchain real estate in the metaverse. Number 1, the biggest commercial brands that you can think of are jumping both feet into the metaverse and creating their digital spaces and their digital storefronts. Real estate developers, actual physical real estate developers, some of the big names out there are pouring tens of millions of dollars building their digital tracts of homes and showrooms that people will be able to walk these properties long before they actually walk them physically. And then number 3, metaverse and blockchain real estate is not new. This has been around. It's just mostly been in video gaming, and we know that gaming paves the road for all future technology and future real estate. Long before the internet, there was Atari, a video game system. And as video games got more and more real and third dimensional and special effects, the internet followed suit. So this has been existing in the video gaming, and that's why it's changing the way we surf the internet. That being said, question number 3, can an NFT, a non-fungible token, only represent something digital when it comes to real estate?
I do think that we're talking, and again, just to kind of finalize what you were talking about in there, is about tokenize an asset, which is opening up the opportunity for multiple people to invest in it. It's like in the traditional way, the REITs. So now we're breaking it down with blockchain technology, which is also cutting up all the middlemen and is making the transaction much faster, transparent, and it's something that a lot of people can get into way easier than the traditional way of investing in real estate. Now, what you just asked about, it doesn't need to be all about virtual real estate. It can also be tied to tangible real estate. How? You will say, well, more and more people in that space are working on ways to minimize and accelerate the way that transactions are taking place. So transforming the deed of the home into an NFT is something that is really creating much more easier processes. And again, we're talking about smart contracts. So how many of you here have either bought, sold, or even helped as a real estate advisor to anybody when it comes to houses? Nobody here owns a house?
Okay, now we have...
There we go, a few of you bought a house. Well, the process is tedious, right? It takes months. It takes a long time. So now we're talking about how to accelerate the process and being able to do it in minutes. So it doesn't need to be just virtual real estate. We're talking about tangible real estate.
Well, I would, again, like to slow down and let's explain what an NFT is. Because many people...
It's a perfect combination, because I love how he breaks it down. That's great.
Many people in this building do not know what an NFT is. They think they know what it is, but they don't. they think of an NFT as an item. I'm making an NFT. I'm making a thumbnail. This piece of art is an NFT. That collectible universe of NFTs is going to be tiny as NFTs are used in the future. An NFT is not a thumbnail. An NFT is the signature of the ownership of that thumbnail recorded on blockchain. And so all the NFT is a receipt. So adding on what Alvaro said, well, think about a piece of property. You own a piece of property in Costa Rica, and you bought it, you got your deed and everything. You go down there, and suddenly someone's living in your house. And you're like, whoa, there's someone in my house. And you go down to the city hall, and you see the mayor and the chief of police, and you're like, there's someone in my house. And they go, oh, that's Marco. He has the best beach party. You should totally go. And you're like, whoa, it's my house. No beach parties, no Marco, no nothing. And you roll out that paper deed, and you say, look, I own the house. And they say to you, well, there's been a change of government in Costa Rica. City hall burned down. No record of that paper deed. If instead of the deed, or in addition to the paper deed, there had been a recording of the title on blockchain as an NFT, that situation will be impossible. There's no way someone could say you don't own it because you could see it on a public blockchain.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was going to say is the NFT. So cryptocurrency is the opposite of an NFT. Cryptocurrencies like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum have equal value with another Bitcoin or another Ethereum token. NFTs can be completely different things that represent different things and have different valuations. So the NFT is quickly becoming the modern day deed of trust to a home recorded on the blockchain. There is only one company that I sit on a board for that is doing this beyond any other company when it comes to recording actual physical transactions on the blockchain, and that company is called Proppy. And Proppy, you can look at them up online. They have their own Pro token on Coinbase. So if you've ever wanted to invest and own a token that is directly tied to the real estate industry, their Pro token is. And they, for the last few years, have been paving the way. And in Ukraine, about a year ago, was the first physical address ever to sell as an NFT. And then people said, well, that's Ukraine. It's not going to happen in the United States. And in February of this year, the first physical condo in the United States in South Miami, in South Florida, sold as an NFT recorded on the blockchain. So if you really want to look them up, you'll learn a lot with them, and they have a bunch of different courses.
That was one Sotheby's in Florida that did that. Yeah. All real estate will be recorded on blockchain. Yeah. All.
Pink slips to cars, everything.
You get married, your marriage license is an NFT.
Exactly.
Everything.
So, actually, I want you to answer this, Neil, if you don't mind, because you were kind of already talking about it. What is the difference between AR and VR when it comes to investing in blockchain real estate? Because a lot of people think AR and VR are the same thing.
No, they're not. Augmented reality is an overlay in our real world. It is not in a VR world. It is in here, in the world. Again, the most famous AR of all time that everybody here knows is the yellow line in a football game. People who have never been to a football game may show up there having watched it on television and expect to see this yellow line. Well, it's different from the other graphics on screen because when the camera pans, the score remains on the screen, but the yellow line remains anchored there, showing you where the first down is. That is augmenting your reality. Another augmented, and the device through which you see it is a television. So mobile game Pokemon Go augments your reality and it puts a Pokemon there. In the VR sphere, you're in goggles and you go into these virtual worlds of real estate that Tony was talking about. People are, Warner Music Group and Price Waterhouse Group and all these huge companies have bought this land and they're going to build it out. Again, I'm skeptical that it'll be a good experience. Time will tell. But in the real world, building owners have rights. And you are going to see them increasingly stand up to NFT players or to advertisers who want to use their property to activate content. Now, this is a good opportunity for everybody. There's a need for an ethical marketplace, and that's where Metaverse Rights comes in, is we put the parties together. So if somebody wants to do NFT drops in some mall or in someone's property because it has value, because people are there regularly, people congregate and they want to reach audience, the building owner wants to do business with people, but it has to be done in an ethical way, and that's where we come in and allow for those transactions.
Thank you for that. Alvaro, anything on that?
Oh, I mean, well said.
I will go a little further. I didn't actually explain it this way either. I think we have to understand what Web3 and Metaverse is in the sense of our own personal life or personal business. Is why does somebody spend $10 million? Why does a company spend millions of dollars on a website? And then somebody who kind of also does what that company does only spent 10 grand on a website. Because they want their $1 million website to be that much more consumer friendly, that much easier to use, have way more customization. That's the old way. The new way is, why does somebody spend $10 million on a digital space in the metaverse versus somebody who will only spend $1,000 in the metaverse? Budget and not the ability to do it, and this other company has the means to do it, and they want their showroom to be that much more extensive. So you just have to understand it that way when you hear people are buying plots of land in digital space. Question number 5, Alvaro, if you want to take the lead on this. What do you see as the biggest opportunities for NFTs in the real and virtual real estate world? So again, what do you see as the biggest opportunities for NFTs in the real and virtual real estate world?
Well, I will say that the biggest opportunity right here is to really create a bridge between both worlds, because it's not just the matter of, okay, I want to invest in virtual real estate or I want to just invest in tangible real estate. It's about creating that bridge between both worlds. So myself, as you two know very well, we're in the industry of real estate. So it's about how can we really expand the value of the real estate to this new technology. So I'll just give you an example. We have a lot of $30 million in Miami. Obviously, we need to sell. So how do we utilize this new technology to add value and really improve the experience? So instead of showing just regular renderings on what could be built into this lot, we're now starting to come up with the NFT collection of all the renderings that could be built into this property. Now, what do you get with this? You're getting a whole experience of putting your VR glasses and automatically be inside the house that will be built in there. Now, not only that, but you'll be owning that also on the virtual world, so that if you want to have now your house built in the real world and in the virtual world, you'll have it. And you are all buying it through as an NFT, which will be all stored in the blockchain. Everything will be done via smart contract, and it will be done immediately. So I see a lot of opportunities when it comes to expand the value of your real estate with this technology.
Well, adding on what Alvaro said, is the smart contract is, again, this is something I want to get very basic with and explain what is a smart contract, because people talk about it, you hear about it, what is related to it. Again, this is a unique property that an NFT offers. And this is where the expanse of commerce can happen. So you're able to, if you record on blockchain as an NFT, you're able to write into the code this additional contract that will self-execute itself. It's why they call it a smart contract. And so if, in the case of the art thumbnails we see so popular, somebody, the creator of it, sells it and someone else buys it, and then they say, you know what, I'm gonna resell this and maybe take a profit. When it's resold, the smart contract will automatically pull a royalty out and pay it back to the creator. And that royalty could be whatever is set, 2%, 5%, 10%. So 20% if you go crazy. But let's just say that you have it as a 10% royalty. If you could put that into your business of real estate, however you figure it out in a transaction. So let's say you're, in the way I think about it, that seems logical, is in development. So if I was a real estate developer, like now I'm a movie producer, so I make movies. Everyone can understand that if I made the movie, I should get a royalty in the sale of that movie. Well, if I go out and I buy a huge plot of land someplace, and I develop it, and I make it into a community, I have produced a community. And so as different components of that land get resold, I think it's reasonable that I could get maybe a 1% or 2% fee on all sales forever. But you can't do that if you haven't established the ownership on blockchain and also established that I have done something of significance. I should be respected forever. I developed a community. And so you're going to see all kinds of new types of commerce that people think of. And that's just one idea. I mean, I got a handful of ideas. There's people out here with millions of great ideas. But it's because of the recording of the smart contract that allows for this new type of commerce.
Thank you very much, both of you, for your answers. I'll go a little further and just add, you know, the biggest opportunity you have right now is to learn it. You know, you see the hashtag, the future happening now, right there on the screen. It's taking the time to truly understand Web3, blockchain, Metaverse, instead of YouTubing what is a Bitcoin or what is cryptocurrency, what is blockchain? Why do I need to learn blockchain? Why does my business need to exist in the Metaverse? Start understanding it, and you'll be the first to do it, because look at all these big name companies that are doing it, and they're usually a sign that small business is gonna have to as well. I'll give you an example. For me, I'm a real estate agent. It's one of the companies that I own. I sell real estate here in Los Angeles. In addition to having a fully custom website that's better than most other of my competitors' websites, and I spent more money, know that I also am gonna need space in the Metaverse or Web3. So I've already started building out our third dimensional showroom and our office building. You all started a website in the beginning of the COVID shutdown called Zoom. Zoom, we've been doing listing presentations on Zoom with people in other countries for 8 years. And then all of a sudden people are like, what's Zoom? And having to learn it. Well, Zoom is already coming out with their new evolution, which is third dimensional, which means you won't be in your computer screen seeing the thumbnails of everybody you're on with. You'll have your glasses on, you'll be in this really cool showroom, you'll see their avatars, and you're doing the presentation right there in front of them virtually. So everything is going there. Your biggest opportunity is learning this now. I will ask the last question, either of you or both of you.
We still have more time, I think, too.
Yeah, we started at 1:10 or 1:12, and it's 40 minutes. Oh yeah, we have about 10 minutes. Because I was going to open it up for question and answer.
Yeah, great idea.
What advice do you have for the audience members or community to get involved with real estate in the NFT world?
Well, I would say that you are in the right spot right here, you know, to get to know everybody that is already doing some kind of activities within that space. So the same way that you've built your community in the tangible or real world, I will give it in this case for real estate. Whenever you are trying to build your community, you're building relationships with the lenders, the mortgage brokers, you're talking to the interior designers, the architects, the developers. You want to build yourself a community of people that will make you more valuable in that space. So the same thing comes into this virtual world. How? Well, you need to start connecting with those that are building the lands, those that are, you know, the meta architects, the meta interior designers, the ones that are actually lending the crypto to finance these deals. So the more people that you understand that could be valuable for you to launch any kind of project that you have in mind, the better that you'll be prepared. And not only that, but I will also suggest that a lot of people might have been invested here in crypto. How many of you have invested in crypto? Okay, makes sense, right? So I will say that before we thought like, okay, the currency was the dollars, whatever, now crypto. I will still say that the social currency, attention is the strongest currency nowadays. If nobody knows about you, they're not gonna work with you. So start recording yourself, start talking about what you're learning, start sharing who you're doing any type of business with, because this is gonna help you to also reach a higher audience and build your community.
Almost all crypto is junk. There's a reason we're seeing it fail. It's based on a promise. I promise that I will still see value in this thing. We will all see value in Bitcoin and it will continue to go up. Dogecoin, Elon Musk tweets something and it's suddenly something. Crypto-based assets, or I should say asset-based crypto, is going to be things people are going to care about. Real estate, which is recorded on blockchain, which can be monetized, is an asset. It's a real-world asset. And so that world will be very valuable in its form of crypto. And NFT is a derivative of crypto. So what I would say to people is think logically. if this thing I'm thinking of, this business I'm coming up with is based on these 20 different businesses realized and all of these other people doing these things and this community growing and all these people making these great experiences, that's a lot of work. If you can come up with something that's logical and is simple that other business and investors can get, you're probably going to be successful. In marketing in college, they taught KISS, keep it simple, stupid. It's gotta be logical, and that way investors will want to do business with you. So I would say, take your time and think, does this business make any sense? Or am I just able to do this because there's a hype cycle happening right now? Because remember the websites in the 90s and the business of the internet in the 90s? None of it made it into the 2000s. I mean, Google was the only one, I think. I can't think of anybody else. The internet we now know and enjoy really was born after about 2003. And so we're in the very earliest days of this. AR and VR are nascent. We haven't even seen them come to life yet. And so I would say everybody proceed with caution. Now, the flip side of that is trillionaires will be made out of this industry, and soon, in the next decade, you will see the first trillionaire be realized. You'll see entirely new businesses. Other businesses were just gone. Remember Blockbuster Video? Gone in a second because they didn't anticipate the digitization of video. Kodak, gone. They didn't see the digitization of film. And so there will be businesses that are very cocky right now and think, well, I can't be disrupted. Well, you will be gone. The flip side is you could be the person that disrupts them, but you must think logically. Does my idea make sense?
Currency is simply what two human beings are willing to give a value to trade, buy, or sell a product or a service. Period. So whether or not you think gold, a gold nugget, metal that was mined out of earth is more valuable than a Bitcoin that was mined out of the internet, I'll debate you all day long, because both give their value based on humans giving it value. Otherwise, it's just another metal on earth. And it's how rare it is and how hard it is to find that makes it more valuable than silver and bronze and copper. Just like a Bitcoin being more rare and harder to mine and harder to find in a limited supply makes it more rare and valuable than an Ethereum, which would be the silver. So you have to think like this, is remember, we're humanizing these digital assets. These digital assets are going to change the world. Blockchain is going to change the world. And a lot of people think of it as just technology, when I think of it as if you were to go into the future and let's say 100 years, and let's say that there's world peace. Let's just hope for it, right? And you said, hey, human race, what are 5 things you can name off the top of your mouth right now that are the reason why we probably got to world peace? Guarantee you blockchain and cryptocurrency will be one of them, because it's decentralized and the people own it and are controlling it. So questions for anybody that has any? We have a few more minutes to answer some questions of yours.
There's a microphone right here that'll be brought to you.
Right there with the hat.
So how do we identify virtual property, right? Like something that is going to appreciate the most. Are there ways to determine like?
No, there aren't. Because the virtual property in the metaverse relies on community. And so there will be a reckoning when people put on their glasses, or their goggles, and they go into the sandbox. And if the experience isn't great, it will all plummet in value. Or maybe one neighborhood is great. It's the same as the real world. If it's not developed and feels safe and enjoyable, so which one is going to be great? I don't know. None of us know that.
Yeah, and I would say just 25 years ago, 30 years ago, right? The .com crash as well is which one should I be on? Should I do AOL? Should I do MSN? Should I do United? Should I do Yahoo? Which ones are good? Which ones are bad? It's the same thing happening in the virtual space right now. What I'm saying and what he said earlier, take the time to learn, but don't rush, because there's going to be other ones that are going to start coming out. We have to see kind of what rises, but you need to be learning it so you're ready and prepared for it.
Well, I mean, I would like to add just that even though you need to be very cautious about which direction you're going. The celebrity attachment is something that has become very popular in any space. Myself, that's one of the concepts of what we do. We celebritize homes, we work with influencers, we bring them on, and you will see that the ones that have become most spoken about and that might have given a high return on investment are those that big names were involved. So be cautious about it as well, but if you can get yourself attached to a celebrity name at an early age, do it as well, because it will help you get the wave.
So as many people throughout the country and the world, they buy actual physical property and then sit on it for like 10, 20 years to sell it at a higher price. Is that where blockchain real estate can go as well? I buy a bunch of virtual blockchain real estate and then sit on it for 5, 10 years, and that's basically the same thing. Or would you not invest?
Well, it's not blockchain real estate, it's real estate. So are you talking about virtual real estate that's recorded on blockchain?
He's saying,
or are you talking about real estate recorded on blockchain?
He's saying, can the virtual real estate
yeah, of course.
grow in value?
That's the bet.
Yes,
that's the bet.
question.
And so there are people now who are buying tons of it, and they're going to sit on it, and they'll see. So yeah, it's like buying a stock.
Now, what I will add to that is it's important that you keep in mind that it's not just the asset itself. It's if it's an income producing asset, like what are you doing with that asset? If you can give it some activation, then that is going to gain much more value than if you just let it sit.
Another question? Yep.
Yes, this question's for Neil. Specific to the digital property rights, I've not found any case law that allows an individual to essentially, in court, protect your property rights in the physical world via digital signature. Have you run into that problem? If so, how did you solve it?
Yeah, so there is law on the books. So, for example, the Lanham Act, there was a situation where in the Spider-Man movie, I could show the city of New York in the movie. People are like, oh, I'm taking a photo of something. Do I have any right? Yeah, no, that's not the case. It's the implied endorsement of it. And so in the Spider-Man video game, the Chrysler Building sued and they had to remove it from the game. And so if I was to put an advertisement on your house, are you cool with that? Of course you're not. You want to get paid for that. So how is the asset being used in the metaverse? The NFT establishes who the true owner of it is. But whether it's the Anti-Cyber Squatting Protection Act, which protects domain names, in the new three-dimensional internet, there's no WW. It's I look at a building and it is the domain name. It is its own domain. So whether it's the Lanham Act, the Anti-Cyber Squatting Protection Act, or just straight up copyright, as any architectural piece of work in real estate is protected in copyright, the law is there. Now, it is early and we haven't seen this being tested in many ways, but logic and the size of the real estate industry dictates that, of course, you will need permission to put media associated with that property. And there will be a need for an ethical marketplace, and that's where Metaverse Rights is as that ethical marketplace to connect these parties. But there's definitely a law, many of them.
Any other questions? All right, so again, Tony_Giordano is how you can connect with me on Instagram. Just put an underscore in between my name. Neil Matt is his name on Instagram. And Alvaro Nunez, same thing for you guys. And we'll be down here if you have other questions, but we hope you enjoyed today.
Hey,
Thank you guys.
Everybody.